you've seen the amount RCB has lost, and if you've seen the fan support, it's disproportionate. So I would say RCB has the best fans without winning a title. Any good captain is very instinctive. MS was very instinctive. So is Virat.
Should tell him on cam.
For sure. I mean, I'll tell him over the phone.
Not many people have led MS Dhoni, but you have. Was that weird?
I was a David Beckham fan growing up, so the number 7 was always like synonymous with a jersey. No, I stopped watching football when Zidane retired.
Really?
That was heartbreak for me.
So the headbutt was the last?
Yeah, when I come back to the Indian team after injury, Rohit had taken 77.
Okay.
So I went to 45.
Ended up bowling faster because you had to bend your back more on those services?
Even if you bend your back, there's no purchase in lunch, to be honest. Okay? The way I look at it is, cricket is a part of your life. It's not your life.
Yeah, so I'm watching some of the videos that you do class. Proper. Varun, thank you so much for your time in doing this. In your own restaurant? Is that fair to call it that way?
Yeah, I mean, my sister and me, we opened this restaurant about 8 months ago now. It feels like it was just yesterday, but it's gone pretty fast, and yeah, we're both enjoying it. She's the head chef, obviously. We have another partner called Vikash, but 3 of us have brought this up together, and we're really enjoying how it's doing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Goan cuisine in Bangalore, normally you don't kind of associate it that way, but comes down from the family, I guess.
Yeah, my mom's side's Goan, and we've always been a very food-focused family, food-heavy family, and my sister being a chef, when she, in the lockdown, when she kind of got laid off because she was a new staff in the Sheraton in Bangalore, she decided that she's just going to take whatever we do at home, which is really good, and jazz it up a little more, put her own twist to it, and we started a cloud kitchen in COVID. That did really well, and then it obviously expanded into a restaurant now.
What about your nickname, Roon? Does it just come out from Varun? Did anyone go Varun crazy in school?
Yeah, I mean, there've been a lot of nicknames. Roon is like a carryover of Varun, obviously.
Yeah.
And if you're a fast bowler, a lot of the nicknames happen to be of you bowling fast. So yeah, this is just one of them.
So did anyone call you Raymond, which is your middle name?
Yeah, I have a few friends in Jamshedpur who call me Raymond from time to time. Some teachers in my school used to call me Raymond, but very few people call me that, because that's actually my granddad's name. That's my mom's dad's name.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane because I was going through a lot of the research while doing this interview, and I was thinking to myself, man, you started out very early. Your affiliation with the MRF Peace Foundation started at the age of 14. So you were almost thrown at the deep end very straight away, you feel?
I mean, I was very lucky to be to get exposed to what I did when I was a young kid.
Yeah.
I went for their trials when I was 14 years old, and I didn't expect it to get selected because I mean everybody was double my height. Guys were huge, but I used to bowl pretty fast back then. So I think they would have seen something in me, especially Dennis Lillee and T.A. Shekhar. They used to run the Pace Foundation back then. To be mentored and coached by somebody like Dennis Lillee when you're 14, that leaves a really long-lasting impression, and that really shapes any cricketer, not just me. There's so many fast bowlers who came out of there, but to get in at 14 and be coached by Dennis Lillee, that was a huge. I wouldn't say turning point. I would say that's a great start to your career.
Yeah, it's almost like quite crazy with your rise to the top. And there's often a saying in India, right? Pace is pace, yaar. You brought that up beautifully in your career. So were you just a one-trick pony where you could just bowl fast, or do you think you had more tricks in your armory?
I mean, that's not for me to decide. That's for people who...
No, when you look back at your career right now.
No, I'm still playing. So I'm not really looking back at my career. Maybe 2-3 years down the line, I'll look back at my career. But I feel over the years, I've developed a lot of skills. Obviously, over the years, when you keep pushing yourself and you keep evolving, you develop a lot of deliveries, and that's how you stay at the top. You just don't play 20 years in any professional circuit by just being a one-trick pony.
I'm just thinking to myself, was there any role models back in the day that you just wanted to go and bang out the stumps, bowl fast as you can? Brett Lee comes to mind, maybe in your gen.
No, I never had any role models, to be very honest. But I did grow up watching a lot of Calypso classics with dad.
Yeah.
So I loved
What a show.
I love Andy Roberts bowling. But then again, when you're 14 and you meet Dennis Lillee, you just try and soak up whatever he's telling you, he's teaching you. And then looking back, I would say that the only person, if you ask me, who would be my idol or who I would like to um, mold my ethos around would be Dennis.
And Dennis was just obviously a great exponent of fast bowling generally. But I'm thinking to myself, you have an affiliation with three main cities. At least you were born in Jharkhand, so obviously you played with them, barring Baroda for a year. I think 2022 it was. But then Bangalore and Chennai are like pretty much your home and your second home. So can you just explain it to me and the uninitiated about your love for these cities?
Yeah, so my dad's from Chikmagalur actually.
No ways.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, he's from Chikmagalur. He's born and brought up there, but then he spent his entire youth in Bangalore. So I've got a lot of family in Bangalore. My dad's entire side is in Bangalore. Then my mom's Goan, so my dad's Tamil, mom's Goan, so I'm completely mixed.
Yeah.
But mom's father had moved to Jamshedpur when they were setting up the steel plant and all that. That's the history, the Jamshedpur history. But then Chennai, I got selected when I was 14 at the MRF Pace Foundation. Then I had a job with MRF. I was their consultant for the MRF Pace Foundation for a very long period of time. I recently resigned from MRF and Bangalore. So my parents moved out of Jamshedpur. Dad he had taken a transfer to Pune in 2011. And back then, I was having a lot of problems with my back. I was having multiple stress fractures, and I was spending a lot of time in NCA. So I realized, you know what, Dad's going to come back to Bangalore anyway when he retires. So why not I just settle in Bangalore? I mean, I like Bangalore, and I by default was spending a lot of time in Bangalore, in living in hotels, and I was not enjoying living in hotels anymore. We had a house in Bangalore, and I moved into that house, and then I've been in Bangalore since 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, it's remarkable because obviously we think of you as a Bangalore boy, but you end up playing for Jharkhand because you're born there. So, not one point in time in your life where you're thinking, yeah, NCA, Bangalore, home is here, play for Karnataka, play for one of the finest Ranji teams of our time.
No, because first of all, Karnataka didn't have any reason to pick anybody from outside because there was Vinay Kumar, there was Arvind, there was Sharad doing really well, they had Ronit More, Mithun, yeah. So they had like a really good fast bowling lineup. And plus, you know what? I just love playing for Jharkhand. There is no better feeling to walk onto the field with the guys who I've grown up with and win a game for Jharkhand. I moved 1 year to Baroda. That was really good. That was interesting in its own way. But your home state is your home state, and the connection I have with the boys, with the administration, with the groundsmen, is just something which I've built for the last 21 years. So home is home.
Yeah, when you talk about Ranchi, do you think you pretty much ended up bowling faster because you had to bend your back more on those services?
I mean, even if you bend your back, there's no purchase in Ranchi, to be honest. Ranchi and Jamshedpur are the two flattest tracks I would say we bowled on in India. Like to pick up 3, 4, 5 wickets on the Ranchi track or in Jamshedpur is an achievement for any fast bowler.
Yeah. And I mean, you don't say that with any tinge of modesty, but I appreciate that. Talk to me about captaining cool, because that's the inevitable question when we talk about Jharkhand. Not many people have led MS Dhoni, but you have. Was that weird?
I mean, it was weird to start with because I was being captained by him in the Indian team, and I was like, you know what? Do you really want me to lead this side, or do you want to do your thing? But he was like, no. See, look, I've just come in after many years. I don't know the boys. So it's just going to be hard for me to captain because until and unless I know what their capabilities are, their pluses, their minuses, it's going to be really hard for me to captain them. Obviously, I'll be there to help you with whatever you need, but I think you should do it because I was already captain. So I think that made a lot of sense because he had not spent much time with the boys because he was actively playing for India. So yeah, it was fun. There was a lot to learn from him. I mean, there's always a lot to learn from him, but that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about India then, because you did make incredible debuts in a way, because Your test match debut, do you remember it well? I remember the batting scorecard.
Yeah.
It was probably the best India's ever seen, Varun. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That was actually a tight test. I mean, I've been a part of a tied one day and a tight test.
Yeah.
While batting.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm an expert in getting matches tied.
I mean, Wankhede crowd.
Wankhede crowd, great batting lineup. Sachin was going to score his 100th in that test match.
Yeah.
He got it for 97 or 98.
Correct.
I still remember he tried to guide a ball of Ravi Rampal, got caught in gully.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, you know what? I could have been like part of like his 100, but it was great. But when I walked into that test bus, when I saw Lakshman, Dravid, Sachin, Gambhir, Sehwag sitting in that bus, I was like, okay, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
And it was great. And even my test debut, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I was mentioning the batting lineup. Go check it out, guys. It's quite ridiculous. They had Gambhir, Sehwag, Dravid, Tendulkar, Lakshman, Kohli, Dhoni, Ashwin. I think Pragyan Ojha played that game, who was having a purple patch, so to speak.
And myself.
And Nishant and you, which was one hell of a team. And early on, you had some incredible deliveries. I don't know if you remember. Pretty sure you do remember every person you've got out. The one that you bowled to Alistair Cook. You remember that well?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do remember most of my deliveries. We were playing a game in Calcutta, and we hadn't picked up a wicket. I think the first wicket, MS brought me on really late in that game. It was the 12th or the 13th over, and Cook was batting, and I got him LBW, but I didn't get to bowl after that.
Yeah.
because then the moment Ashwin and Jadeja, once we broke that partnership,
they just ate them
Ashwin
alive.
and Jadeja came in and they just finished the game, I think, in the next 15-20 overs.
Yeah. Normally, if you ask some guy on the road and all that, he'll still point out that Stuart Broad broken nose.
Yeah.
How many times do you watch it back? Because I was chuckling with the boys as well.
Yeah.
That was some ball because it penetrated the helmet, and Broad, you probably ended his batting career. You got a 169 before that.
Yeah, I'm not very proud of that, to be honest. But that's just part of the game. And being a fast bowler, one of your main jobs is to also intimidate the batsman. The plan was to bowl bounces.
Okay.
So the couple of bounces I bowled before that, I bowled round the wicket.
Yeah.
So what was happening was it was coming into him, and he was just picking it up with the angle, and there was a shorter boundary that side. So he hit a couple of sixes, and it was quite late in my spell. After he hit those 2 sixes, I got really amped up. And I know myself, when I bowl over the wicket to a left-hander, my bounces are a little more effective.
Yeah.
So I just gave it everything, that ball, and it slipped through his... He again tried to pull me.
Yeah.
It slipped through his... not his defenses, basically his bat. And I think it took a very thin edge and went through his bill.
Yeah, I think that was the time he still used the Adidas bat. But just makes you think about your test career, Varun, because you played in England, but you also played in Australia. And another video which has kind of gone viral since is when you got Warner out, but then it was a stupid no ball. So you and Virat have charged up to saying, come on, and I loved it. How tough was that Australian tour? Because even though we saw the making of Virat, was it something you look back and you'd have been like, it's made for me, fast bowling in Australia should go hand in hand?
Yeah, I mean, that was disappointing. The tour of Australia was disappointing. I lost my granddad during that tour, so I had to fly back to India in the middle of the tour and spend time with the family because I was very close to my granddad. I was like building up to that tour. Everything was going really well. I was playing we were playing the one days versus Sri Lanka, and in that one day, and I was bowling really, really quick. Like I was bowling in excess of 150 in Cuttack. All right. But then just after that, during that match and before that tour, I tore my quad. So after tearing my quad, that really hampered my preparation for the tour. But that being said, I looking back, I could have maybe done a few things better in that tour and maybe gotten India to win a couple of tests at least, because especially at the Gabba, the wicket was bouncy. We could have done better as a team at the Gabba.
Yeah, in retrospect, I'm thinking your biggest nemesis was your injuries. Is that fair to say?
For sure. I mean, I've had 8 stress fractures to my back, 3 different stress fractures to my left foot, multiple torn muscles.
And you're a cricketer, just checking. Right?
Yeah.
You're not a kabaddi player or a wrestler.
Multiple torn muscles all around the place, a few ligaments which are still not intact. But it's just I feel it's a journey of a fast bowler, and if you're going to try to push the limits, break barriers in a country like India with the kind of wickets we have in the domestic circuit, or in general, you have to be ready to face the brunt of injuries. But I mean, there have always been people who've been like, you know what, you should cut down on pace.
Yeah.
You can move the ball. You have variations. Why don't you just do what's safer for you? But to be honest, I love bowling fast.
Yeah.
I love cricket, but I love my discipline more than cricket, which is bowling fast, and it gives me happiness. People don't understand injuries actually do hamper form more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because every time you're building up rhythm, everything is going really well. When you hit an injury, then you have to come back to square one and then build up again.
Yeah.
But if you don't have injuries, you can just keep building up, keep adding more things, and your form and your confidence keeps going from strength to strength. But with injuries, what happens is you have to keep coming back to the drawing board again, and you have to think about technique a lot, because the only reason I've played all these years is because I've gotten a very sound understanding of technique. I can break down my own technique, make certain changes if I feel that, you know what, this part of my body is getting loaded. I can make subtle changes, which has actually helped me in the long run, because now when I work with young fast bowlers, it takes me hardly any time to help them and make an impact when I deal with them. So yeah, I mean, it has its pros and cons. It definitely affected my career, but it's definitely given me all the tools to impact the next generation and make them better fast bowlers.
Yeah, because you can literally say, been there, done that, lads, followed by what you've kind of seen me go through. So just circling back to your time at RCB and your early stages of the IPL. In fact, let me just talk about your IPL debut, and I don't know if you know this. Two questions. Why do you wear 77 at the back of your shirt?
I wanted to wear 7 because that's always a number I've liked, and I was a David Beckham fan growing up, so the number 7 was always like synonymous with a jersey.
Yeah.
But then obviously 7 was taken by MS.
Yeah.
And when I played for India, obviously I couldn't wear 7, so I wore 77.
Yeah, and you wore 45 as well for a while.
45 because what happened was when I come back to the Indian team after injury, Rohit had taken 77.
Okay.
So I went to 45.
That's incredible. Why did Rohit take 77? Then you took 45. Then he took your number and he made it his. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Did you know, speaking of 77, your debut, Sehwag and Warner opened for Delhi. I think you were part of the same team. You were playing against Punjab. They scored 77 each in that game.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And you got Gilchrist bowled in response. Do you remember much of your IPL debut?
I just remember getting Gilchrist bowled. I just remember going around the wicket. I don't know which over that was. I don't know. I think it was after the 6th over.
Yeah.
I was surprised that I got shaped into the ball because the ball generally doesn't move. The old Kookaburra actually used to move even after the 6th over, but the new one just stops moving after the first ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got some shape back, got his middle stump, but I don't remember anything except that. Yeah.
You've said somewhere that RCB are the best fans in the world. Are you just saying that to please a large bunch of people?
No, I mean they do, because if you've seen the amount RCB has lost, and if you've seen the fan support, it's disproportionate.
Yeah.
Which shows that their fans really back RCB, because knowing the fans' expectations, knowing whatever goes on at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, playing for RCB for 3 years, and RCB haven't won a title yet, and the fans literally support RCB through thick and thin. So I would say RCB has the best fans without winning a title yet. Imagine RCB move this same stadium to Mohali, and you would have seen nobody in the stands, because they don't get that kind of support. They've not won a title.
Correct.
But they don't get that much support, and that just is testament to the I would say the sporting literacy of the city we live in. And also, I think a big part of it is where the stadium is situated. That plays a big part, because it's slap bang middle of town.
Yeah.
And when there's a game on, everybody wants to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite crazy, because we normally do a bunch of fan cams and stuff, and we get proper, raw, unfiltered reactions from fans. But you mentioned RCB there, and why it was your best sort of year in the IPL. Why do you think they haven't won an IPL trophy?
Well, the difference is that they don't have Chris and AB now,
Yeah.
so which is a big difference.
Yeah.
And the only reason I can see why they haven't won an IPL yet, because I feel they really need to start investing in domestic talent. If you see, there's KL Rahul, there's Mayank Agarwal, there is Karun Nair, Manish Pandey. I'm taking four really top batters in India who've not really much played for RCB. I feel if these guys were playing, they would have had one of the best domestic batting lineups. Even if you take two out of three, they've all been a part of the setup at some point, but they were part of the setup when they were really young, when they'd not established themselves. But if you see the stats, the next best domestic batsman run wise after Virat Kohli is Rahul Dravid.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
If you go to see an IPL team, so Virat Kohli is obviously a genius. He's a run machine. He's scored runs year after year, but you can't win a cricket game with one man. You need people to back him up, and sadly, he hasn't gotten that support.
Yeah.
And in the bowling department as well, you need domestic bowlers who can step up. You need the Indian bowlers who can step up. Yes, if you have if you have one or two international bowlers of repute, but you need domestic bowlers. And if you see the mantra of any IPL team who've done well through the years, it's the domestic guys who've stood out and who've actually taken those crunch situations and done well.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about someone like Chahal, right? I mean, he's almost added so much value to that franchise in terms of the holy trinity of Chris, AB, and Virat. But who am I? I'm just a fan. Speaking of fans, they want to know something. Your IPL all-time 11, Varun. I'm going to put you on the spot here. What is it? Who does it constitute of? And in batting order, please.
All right. I have to go with Virat and Chris Gayle opening the innings. I would slot in Sachin Tendulkar number 3. Oh, actually, Virat Kohli number 3, Sachin and
Gayle
to open. Yeah. We go AB de Villiers number 4. I would promote MS Dhoni to number 5.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. His best years came at 5, to be fair.
Yeah. Number 5, MS Dhoni. Number 6, I would go Hardik Pandya.
Okay.
Number 7, Pollard.
Okay.
Number 8, Jadeja.
Okay.
So you have Hardik.
Three foreigners done. Gayle, Pollard, and de Villiers.
This obviously has to be Malinga, the 4th foreigner.
Yeah.
Bumrah. How many are we? 10.
Yeah,
right?
10, and you need 11. So you play
11.
yourself.
No. You gotta give it to Chahal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So that's it. That's one hell of 11. Just quickly, why wouldn't you pick yourself? Because some other cricketers have been picking themselves in their own.
I mean, these guys have a better record than I do. There's no qualms about that.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the IPL is just great chats, but the outside things of IPL, because some of the players that we've interviewed on this very platform have told us how things have improved massively, the professional side of games, like the drinking aspect and the smoking aspect. Do you think that was there because the league was still growing in terms of the entertainment side of it, so that was just part and parcel of it?
I mean, to be honest, I don't think anything has changed because yes, you as a sports person or even as a professional in any field, you have your life outside the game or outside your office, and that shouldn't come under scrutiny and I feel in India people scrutinize like other people's lives a lot, not just cricketers, and people have a life outside the game. And cricket is big in India, yes, but the way I look at it is cricket is a part of your life. It's not your life. But I've been very disciplined throughout my career. I'm still very disciplined, and all the guys who've been at the top level have always been disciplined. And you're allowed to have a beer after you've had a good win, and that's something which actually is lacking in India. Because when I've played the county circuit, after a day's play, after a game gets over, both the teams sit across each other, share a beer. They don't get smashed, but they have a beer. You interact with the opposition, you interact with your teammates. The kind of cricketing conversations which come out through these interactions will not happen over a protein shake, to be very fair.
Yeah.
So I mean, and the bonds you build, the friendships you create over just a beer after a day's play, and the memories you make are brilliant. So I would say that actually India should start a culture where people actually come together after Ranji Trophy. I'm not saying you have to drink, but just come together, have a dinner together, interact with each other, because that's really lacking in what I see in the setup at the moment in India. Because there's no point of playing cricket for 20-25 years and not having friends.
Yeah.
Like I'm really lucky. I've made a lot of friends throughout India, throughout the world, just by interacting with them, getting to know them better.
You mentioned the county game there. Do you still have friends up in Durham and Leicester?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, had some really good times in Durham and Leicester. Still, I keep in touch with a lot of the guys.
But the
from
UK
there.
is UK, bro. So good.
Yeah, I mean, India's India as well. I love
Yeah.
India as well.
Yeah.
So, but just playing in a different scenario where you're the pro, the whole team is depending on you. My second game for Leicester was the first game they won in 23 games.
Yeah.
And to play a domestic game in a packed stadium and the fans running onto the field, you celebrating, is something which I could have never experienced playing for Jharkhand.
Oh, 100%.
Because
yeah.
we might have like 2 people sitting in the stands
Yeah.
in Ranchi, few people in Jamshedpur. But to play this game against Glamorgan, where it came down to the last 2 overs,
Yeah.
we got that wicket, and like the whole county, like everybody from the area running onto the field. It is great. Like special moments like that. I mean, as a cricketer, you live for these moments.
Yeah, and especially I mentioned the whole English side of the game because it's ingrained in their fabric. I mean, you see with football as well and cricket. Speaking of football, you mentioned David Beckham there. When you were in the UK, did you kind of go and check out any Premier League games? Or?
No, I stopped watching football when Zidane retired.
Really?
That was heartbreak for me.
So the headbutt was the last.
Yeah, I'm not very emotional, but
Yeah.
but when France lost that World Cup, I actually cried. I was huge Zidane fan.
Yeah.
And when they lost that World Cup, he retired. I really didn't watch much football after that. Yeah, time to time, I do pop in, watch an odd game, but I've not been a football fan after that. So,
talk about watching sport. How much of cricket do you actually watch? I know it's part and parcel of your gig because now you're on broadcast and stuff.
I've actually started to watch a lot of cricket now. Because,
but be honest with me, did you watch anything of the CPL, for example?
To be very honest with you, up until I started becoming a broadcaster, I just watched no cricket.
Okay.
Because I love playing the game. I never really was somebody who would watch too much of TV in general.
Yeah, but now with the BGT on the horizon,
yeah,
how much of video research do you do even as a broadcaster, as a former player?
In my time with Star Sports, I spent a lot of time with the Hawk guys.
Yeah.
And I was really enjoying that. And we did a lot of work together, the Hawk team and me. We came out with this. So everybody, when they were trying to break down why Siraj was not having a good IPL, I was also working with Cricinfo. So in a Cricinfo interview, I randomly said, I feel, because I was obviously watching the game and I was analyzing what's going wrong. I realized that he was bowling way more outgoing deliveries than incoming deliveries. And at the Chinnaswamy, you need to bowl a lot of deliveries hitting the stumps. That's why he was really successful in the previous IPL. So I said that. And one of the producers saw that interview on Cricinfo. They came to me. They were like, "How do you know this? We've been trying to get a pattern on why Siraj is going wrong." I was like, "I've just been watching the game, so that's something I picked up." And then I was like, "We can go confirm it with the Hawk guys." We confirmed it with the Hawk guys. There was a huge difference in the percentage of incoming balls to outgoing balls he had bowled last season to this season.
Yeah.
So in general, I am very analytical because I've just been into the analytics part of it, breaking down my own game, trying to come back from injuries, trying to help other fast bowlers. So that's just natural to me. If I see a play or if I watch a bowler, like my brain is developed in such a way because of my own journey that it's easy for me to break down these things.
Yeah, and it comes naturally to you, and fair play to you on that. I was just going to think about the captains you've been under, and MS comes to mind, Virat comes to mind. How much do they use data? Like, do you remember, say, Virat saying, "Oh, this guy struggles in the offside and his percentage is like this"? Did they ever bring up data, or again, were they just driven by their gut instinct?
I don't think any captain I've played with have come out with data on the field.
Yeah.
Because any good captain is very instinctive. MS was very, very instinctive. So is Virat. MS didn't believe in team meetings at all, or even in video sessions. He was obviously one extreme. Virat kind of had that that drive towards technology, towards using technology to get better fitness wise, preparation wise, and all of that. He obviously brought that to the table. So they were both very different characters, but both of them had a very had a very strong gut, and they would trust that.
Okay. We're almost done and dusted with this interview. We thank you so much for it, but we have to, of course, end with a rapid fire because you were rapid. So we try to do my best to 153.4 in terms of the conversation. But straight up, cars or bikes?
Bikes.
Why do you say that?
Because you can feel the atmosphere around you on a bike. I would have never bought a car, but I think I've had enough injuries on the field to get injured off the field as well. So I've just kept the bikes for after I retire.
Okay. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Because you have two.
I mean, yeah, I have two dogs, but I've always loved German Shepherds. I've had my ex-wife. She had a couple of German Shepherds, and I was very fond of them, and they were very fond of me. So yeah, German Shepherds have always been my thing.
Okay. What if I have to ask you your first ever memory of cricket?
Playing cricket with my dad in the backyard.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Not Calypso Diaries or the Calypso Cricket.
Yeah, but if you ask me about my first memory, that would be my dad bowling to me and me batting. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite venue that you've played at, cricket stadium?
I would say Wankhede.
Wankhede, okay. Favorite place in the world in terms of just a holiday destination?
Madagascar.
And when have you been there?
I've been there. I've been there twice. Spent a couple of months there. So my girlfriend, she used to have a job in Madagascar. She works in the developmental field. So I'd never taken a holiday for 17 years, right? And I was like, you know what, this place sounds intriguing. I'm just gonna go have a look. So I went for about 10 days the first time. I fell in love with it. I was like, this is the ultimate place. I've never been to a place like this in my life. After that, after the last season, after I got a break, I went there for a month. I love my food. I love the smaller things in life. And so Madagascar is one of those places.
Be honest with us. After any IPL game, have you seen any players being shit-faced?
No, because I would be in my room pretty early. So yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't have. No.
Fair enough. FIFA, Netflix?
Netflix.
Okay. Golf or paddle?
Golf.
Why do you say golf?
Because I've not played paddle yet.
Really?
Yeah. But I love golf. God. Like I'm very, very addicted to golf.
But do you know like 60% of the country plays golf just for business deals? Are you one of those?
No, I play golf alone. Yeah, I love playing golf alone. And obviously, Murli Vijay and me play a lot of golf together when I'm in Chennai.
Yeah.
Karun Aaron I play golf with in Bangalore, but I enjoy playing golf the most when I'm alone.
Okay. Last couple from me. Best friend in cricket?
Man, don't put me on the spot.
No, come on. I have to, because David Beckham, if you're watching, please hold him gunpoint.
You can't put me on the spot. There are so many good friends. Murli Vijay is a really good friend. Karuna is a good friend. KL is a good friend. There's so many good friends, man. I can't just pick one. Yeah.
You should recommend Murli Vijay to do the show with us. We go to Chennai, we do the interview with the monk. You should tell him on cam.
For sure. I mean, I'll tell him over the phone.
100%. Okay, finally from us, because we're at this beautiful restaurant, we all have two things in common. We all love eating and we all have to die at some point in time. So what's the final meal you'd love to eat before you pass away? Whenever that is.
Can we do the friend question again? Because, bro, I always miss out like my domestic guys, you know.
No, we're keeping that in. Okay, fine, sure.
Yeah.
Best friend in cricket?
That's obviously very hard because I have so many friends in cricket. But obviously, Murli Vijay is a really good friend. Karuna is a good friend. KL is a very good friend. But from my domestic side, there's Rahul Shukla, there's SS Rao, there's Nadeem. We've grown up playing together, so we have like a very special bond amongst us.
Super. Finally, food for thought. Like I said, if you had to pick a 3-course meal, the final thing that you'd eat whenever you have to go away from this world, what would it be? You could just name random things which has enticed you in your life.
I would start with a good salmon sashimi.
Oh, get in.
My main course would be my mom's garlic potato, rasam, rice and fish fry. And my dessert would be a Victoria sponge cake.
Oh, shut the front door. Thank you so much, Varun Aaron, for this. It's been absolutely fun to just unwind with one of India's finest ever bowlers. He's the quickest and he'll always remain that way. But more importantly, he's just a gem of a man. Cheers. Well done.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Brilliant interview.